Why it sucks to be Ash's Lucario. You're an egg, sitting in a Pokemon Center, and honestly, you're being picky as hell. Day after day, trainers shuffle through these sterile white halls, their voices echoing off the tiles as they peer into incubators, hoping to find their perfect partner. But none of them feel right. You've been passed from one daycare worker to another across 3 different regions, and everyone's starting to whisper about the stubborn Riolu egg that just won't hatch. The workers don't get it. They think you're defective, broken somehow. They adjust the temperature, change your bedding, even try playing different types of music to encourage development. What they don't understand is that you're waiting for something you can't even name yet. Something that calls to the aura sleeping deep in your shell. Then one day, it happens. A battle erupts outside the center. You can feel it through the walls, through the very air itself. There's an aura out there unlike anything you've ever sensed. Powerful, determined, burning with a passion that makes your shell vibrate. This trainer is different. This one might actually be worthy of you. When the young trainer with the Pikachu finally enters the room, your shell starts cracking immediately. The workers gasp and call it a miracle. But you know better. You've found him. After all this waiting, all this patience, you've finally found your destined partner. You hatch into the world as a Riolu, blinking in the harsh fluorescent light, and immediately something feels wrong. That incredible aura you sensed during the battle, it's gone. Completely gone. This boy standing in front of you feels ordinary, weak even. Where's the power that called to you? Where's the strength that made you finally decide to emerge? Panic sets in. This can't be right. You were so sure, so absolutely certain that this was your trainer. But now, looking at his confused face, feeling his disappointingly average aura, you realize you've made a terrible mistake. In your confusion and fear, you lash out with a force palm and bolt through the nearest window, disappearing into the night. The world outside is nothing like a warm, safe environment of the Pokemon Center. You're small, barely hatched, and every wild Pokemon you encounter sees you as either prey or a threat to their territory. Rattata swarm you in packs, their teeth sharp and their numbers overwhelming. Spearow dive bomb you relentlessly from above, their beaks leaving bloody scratches across your blue and black fur. You stumble through the forests and across rocky terrain, your tiny paws bleeding, your body aching from exhaustion and hunger. By the time you reach the mountains, you're barely conscious, running on nothing but stubborn pride and the fading hope that you can somehow find your way back to safety. That's when the Onix appears. Massive, ancient, and absolutely furious that a small Pokemon has wandered into its territory. It towers over you like a living mountain, its rocky segments grinding together as it prepares to crush what's left of your broken body. This is it. You're going to die alone in the wilderness, never having found your true trainer, never having fulfilled whatever destiny you thought was waiting for you. Then he appears again. The boy from the Pokemon Center, breathing hard from running, his Pikachu at his side. And suddenly, impossibly, that aura blazes to life again. The same incredible power you sensed before, burning bright and fierce as he steps between you and certain death. He's willing to fight for you, to protect you, even after you attacked him and ran away. In that moment, you understand. The power wasn't gone. It was just sleeping, waiting for the right moment to emerge. This is your trainer. This is who you were meant for. Life with Ash becomes everything you dreamed of during those long months as an egg. You're not just another team member collecting dust in some PC box. You're special. You can sense his aura, communicate with him on a level his other Pokemon can't match. When he's determined, you feel it burning in your chest. When he's worried, it gnaws at your stomach. You're connected in a way that goes beyond simple trainer-Pokemon bonds. The training is intense but rewarding. Every day you grow stronger, faster, more in tune with the aura flowing through all living things. You learn to read opponents before they even move, to sense their intentions and encounter them perfectly. Your Bone Rush becomes devastating, your Force Palm precise and powerful. Then comes the moment that changes everything. Eternatus, the legendary Pokemon of destruction, threatens to tear apart the Galar region itself. The sky turns red, reality warps and bends, and even champion-level trainers are struggling to mount any kind of defense. In that moment of absolute crisis, with Ash's life hanging in the balance, something awakens deep within you. You evolve, not gradually, not peacefully, but in an explosive burst of aura energy that sends shockwaves across the battlefield. You're Lucario now, tall and proud and more powerful than you ever imagined possible. Your aura abilities expand exponentially, allowing you to fight alongside legendary Pokémon as an equal, helping to save not just Galar, but potentially the entire world. You're not just strong anymore, you're a hero. The Pokémon who evolved at the perfect moment to help stop an apocalypse. For a brief, shining period, you feel like you're exactly where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you were born to do. Then you meet Mewtwo, and your entire worldview crumbles. The legendary psychic type doesn't just defeat you, it dismantles you like you're a child playing at being a warrior. Your most powerful aura sphere attacks are swatted aside like annoying flies. Your speed, which you thought was impressive, looks sluggish compared to Mewtwo's teleportation. Even when you and Cinderace attack together, combining your strength, it makes no difference whatsoever. In less than 30 seconds, you're unconscious on the ground, completely outclassed in every possible way. Mewtwo didn't even look like it was trying, it was toying with you, the way a cat toys with a mouse before losing interest. For the first time since hatching, you're forced to confront a brutal truth. You're not as strong as you thought you were. All those victories, all that confidence, all those moments where you felt unstoppable. They were just you beating up on opponents who were never in your league to begin with. You've been a big fish in a small pond, and now you've met an actual ocean predator. Humiliation burns worse than any physical injury. You replay the battle over and over in your mind, searching for some moment where you could have done better, some technique you could have used, some strategy that might have made a difference. But there's nothing. You were simply, completely, utterly outmatched. Desperate to become stronger, you and Ash seek out his former Greninja and Kalos. You've heard stories about this Pokémon, whispered legends about the bond it shared with your trainer. But nothing prepares you for the reality of meeting your predecessor. Greninja doesn't just defeat you, it embarrasses you. Every attack you throw is countered effortlessly. Every strategy you attempt is read and neutralized before you can even execute it. Your speed, which you thought was your greatest asset, looks clumsy compared to Greninja's fluid grace. The way it moves is like watching water flow. Natural, inevitable, beautiful. Even when you try to mega evolve in desperation, channeling every ounce of aura you possess, you fail completely. The energy dissipates harmlessly, leaving you exhausted and humiliated, while Greninja watches with what might be pity in its eyes. But the worst part isn't the physical defeat. It's watching Ash's face during the battle. You can see it in his expression, feel it in his aura, the memory of what he used to have, the partnership that transcended anything you've achieved together. His bond with Greninja was legendary, literally world-saving. They achieved perfect synchronization, becoming something greater than the sum of their parts. You're not his first aura Pokémon, you're his replacement, and you're not measuring up. The comparison is inevitable and crushing. Greninja mastered everything you're still struggling with, and it did it years ago, when Ash was younger and less experienced. What does that say about you? Greninja tries to help, and that somehow makes it worse. It's patient, encouraging, showing you techniques for expanding your aura abilities that you never imagined possible. Under its tutelage, you learn to sense emotions across vast distances, to read the intentions of multiple opponents simultaneously, to challenge your aura in ways that would have seemed like magic just months before. But every lesson is a reminder of how far behind you are. Every technique Greninja demonstrates with casual ease takes you weeks to master, even partially. This Pokémon left Ash to save the entire region, becoming a guardian spirit protecting Kalos from environmental disasters. What have you accomplished? A few tournament wins? Some battles against Team Rocket? You train harder than ever, pushing yourself to the absolute limit and beyond. Your paws bleed from practicing bone rush combinations. Your aura channels burn from overuse. You collapse from exhaustion more nights than you care to count. But you keep pushing because you have to. You have to prove that you're worthy of the comparison. that you deserve to stand where Greninja once stood. Deep down though, you know the truth. You're chasing a ghost, trying to fill shoes that were never meant for you. No matter how strong you become, how many techniques you master, how perfectly you synchronize with Ash, you'll always be the Pokemon who came after the legend. Your training pays off in the Masters 8 tournament, the World Championship, the biggest stage in competitive Pokemon battling, and you're Ash's ace. The pressure is immense. Millions watching, legendary trainers with decades of experience, Pokemon that have been champions since before you were even an egg. The battle against Cynthia's Garchomp becomes the stuff of legend. Two powerhouses trading devastating attacks, neither willing to give an inch. Garchomp is faster, more experienced, with a move pool that seems endless. But you have something it doesn't, that perfect connection with Ash, that ability to fight as one unified force. The final exchange is brutal. Garchomp's Dragon Rush collides with your Aura Sphere in an explosion that shakes the entire stadium. When the smoke clears, Garchomp is down, and you're still standing, barely. The crowd erupts. Commentators scream about the upset of the century, and for a moment, you feel like you've finally proven yourself. You've defeated a champion's ace Pokemon. You've helped Ash reach the finals of the World Championship. You've shown everyone, including yourself, that you belong on this stage. The victory should feel complete, should silence all the doubts and comparisons once and for all. But even in your moment of triumph, the shadow remains. Every technique you used in that battle, every strategy that worked, every moment of perfect synchronization with Ash, they all trace back to Greninja's teachings. You won, but you won using lessons learned from your predecessor. You're strong now, maybe even stronger than Greninja was at its peak, but you'll never escape the feeling that you're walking in its footsteps, rather than forging your own path. As you stand with Ash after his World Championship victory, you feel complete. You've achieved everything you dreamed of as an egg waiting in that Pokemon Center. You're the ace Pokemon of the world's strongest trainer. You've saved regions, defeated legends, and mastered powers most Pokemon can't even comprehend. The trophy gleams in the stadium lights. The crowd chants Ash's name, and you can feel his joy and pride radiating through your aura connection. This is it. The pinnacle. The dream realized. The destiny fulfilled. You should be satisfied, content, ready to rest on your laurels as one of the greatest Pokemon who ever lived. But late at night, when the celebrations end and the crowds go home, when it's just you and your thoughts in the quiet darkness, the question still haunts you. Are you Ash's Lucario? Or are you just a Pokemon trying to fill the void Greninja left behind? You'll never know for sure, and maybe that's the cruelest part of all. Not the battles you lost or the pain you endured, but the uncertainty that no amount of victory can ever truly erase. You can be the strongest, the fastest, the most skilled, but you'll always wonder if you're living up to a legacy that was never meant to be yours to carry. Sometimes the hardest opponent to defeat isn't a legendary Pokemon or a champion's ace. Sometimes it's the shadow of who came before you, and the fear that you'll never be anything more than a replacement for something irreplaceable. And sometimes that's exactly why it sucks to be Ash's Lucario. Because no matter how strong you become, how many battles you win, or how legendary your power grows, you'll always be living in the shadow of the bonds that came before you, fighting not just opponents, but the constant weight of never quite being enough. The egg that refused to hatch became the Pokemon that could never stop trying to prove itself worthy of hatching in the first place. And in the end, maybe that's the most human thing about you. The endless, exhausting, necessary struggle to define yourself not by who came before, but by who you choose to become.